I talk to a lot of people who want to start or buy a business, and many of them get stuck in what I call the research trap. They spend hours online reading about industry trends, market size, competitors, and when they're done, they're no closer to knowing the one thing that actually matters. Will real people pay for the thing that you want to sell? Now, don't get me wrong, market data is useful. It can help you identify things like whether an overall industry is growing and where it's concentrated, but it's also backward looking. It tells you what has happened, not what will happen. And when you're evaluating a new idea, that difference can matter, actually, a lot. So instead of trying to become an expert on your industry overnight, I wanted to show you a simpler, more effective way to analyze demand, one that gets you out of your head and into the real world. I call it the 3 C's of market validation: clarify, convert, and connect. Step one is clarify. And what I mean by that is clarify your assumptions. Now, whether you call them assumptions, hypotheses, guesses, or beliefs, every business starts with a story you're telling yourself about who the customer is, what problem you're solving, and why they'd pay you instead of somebody else. So the first step is to get those assumptions out of your head and onto paper. You don't want to commit to them yet because many of them are probably wrong. What you want is to identify what has to be true for this business to work, so you can figure out which of those beliefs are grounded in reality. That's the data you need before you decide to invest a meaningful amount of your time or money. As a pricing expert once told me, most ideas fail because people create a solution looking for a problem. And that resonates because I've been there. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a brilliant idea that no one actually wanted. And I've since learned that writing down my assumptions is a great way to force me to look at my beliefs so I can see where I'm clear and where I'm just guessing. Step two is convert. Now we want to convert those assumptions into the right questions. Once you've written out your assumptions, the next step is to turn them into testable questions. Now, the right questions don't ask for opinions. Instead, they reveal behavior, because as humans, we are notoriously bad at predicting our future behavior. We all think we're going to work out 4 times a week and lay off the cheesecake. But few of us live up to these ideals. So your goal is to uncover what people actually do, not what they hope to do. And here are a few examples of great questions. 1. When you choose where to buy, insert your product or service, what factors matter most? Here's another one. In what situations would you pay more? Or another one. How do you decide between one option or another? Those kind of questions uncover what people actually value. And when you understand what drives their decisions, you're not guessing anymore. You're actually gathering valuable insight that can tell you who your ideal customer actually is and how you can differentiate and price your product or service for them. Now, I know that coming up with the right questions can seem tricky, so I actually created a quick guide to walk you through how to create great ones. So you can find the link in the description below if you want to dig into that. But now let's talk about step 3. Step 3 is connect. Go out and connect with real people, aka potential customers. Most people actually stop before this step. They do their desk research because it's comfortable. There's no awkward attempts to strike up a conversation with a stranger. But as a demand research expert I once interviewed put it, you can't understand demand from behind a keyboard. You have to go out and observe. And if you're thinking about a local business, that might be walking the neighborhood. But it could also be visiting competitors, talking with someone you think might be a potential future customer, or even going to visit businesses with a similar clientele. One business owner I know stood outside a grocery store with a clipboard and asked people questions as they came out. Another business owner went and visited all the competing businesses in the industry. He would walk in, buy a drink, and strike up a conversation with one of the team members. Now, he learned pretty quickly that wasn't particularly valuable, so he developed a different strategy. He'd find out the owner's name, he'd find the owner, strike up a conversation with him, and he got amazing intelligence that helped him decide not only on which business model made sense for him, but ultimately helped him decide which was the actual business he wanted to purchase. You're not trying to be sneaky, you're trying to understand how people make decisions, and whether the business you envision or want to buy will capture its fair share of value. The goal isn't perfection. You're not going to remove all the risk, but you can build the kind of conviction that comes from knowing that you've stacked the odds in your favor. So before you dive into another spreadsheet or online research, just remember, that's the initial information. It's going to help you home in on the right people to talk to with the right questions to ask. And if you use the 3 C's of market validation, you can be moving forward with actual data, not just guesses. So the 3 C's again: clarify your assumptions, convert them into the right questions, and then connect with real people. Again, there's a link to a guide to help you convert your assumptions into those right questions in the description below. If you found this helpful, please like it and share it with someone who might find it similarly helpful. And if you have a question about your own path to business ownership, send it my way to jeremyames@jeremyames.com. I answer one of these every week in my newsletter. Best of luck to you on your journey. Cheers.